Hello everybody, my name is Clint Ward. I'm the personal trainer here for GRIPBELL. This is my fitness model, Alexia Gallicatos. We're going to take you through the beginner level fitness introductory program. First off, I want to thank you for choosing GRIPBELL. A little bit about GRIPBELL before we get started. There are 28 different grip options that you can use with this thing. I mean, there's so many different varieties that you can go through. We're going to go ahead and minimize that down to just 3 different grips for you on this particular program. We're going to have the center grip, so everything's kind of nice and centered with your wrist, the distribution of weight. So it's actually the easiest position to hold for the particular GRIPBELL. Or we have the kind of what I call is the briefcase handle. Right? That's going to be kind of what we call as the medium grip, and then the heavy grip is at the very end where the weight is furthest away from your wrist, so that's going to make it the most difficult, most challenging. So if you find that this particular grip is too easy for you, you can always advance going out, or you can go as far away from the hand and wrist as possible. Just make sure that when you're swinging this GRIPBELL, keep it nice and tight in the wrist, okay? No flexion, no extension, and no casting, just to kind of minimize any kind of injuries on the wrist. And be very careful performing these exercises. If you feel any kind of pains in the spine, the shoulder, the knee, go ahead and just either modify the program to where you can work through it, or we can always kind of switch it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through stages to lead up to the actual GRIPBELL workout. We're going to start off doing a little myofascial release. Down on the mat, we're going to use these foam rollers. We're going to massage, like a deep tissue massage on your legs. We're just going to go ahead and stick with just your legs. You can do a full body on your own. Typically it takes about 15-20 minutes of some serious myofascial release. We're not going to get into that today for the purpose of this video. Here you go, Alexia. We're going to hit 3 areas. We're going to mess with the hamstrings, we're going to mess with the quads, and also the IT band. Right now she's got the hamstrings. The first initial phase is basically just go ahead and comb your fibers, just kind of roll back and forth. We're going to go from your knee up to your hip and back down to your knee. What we're searching for are those knots in the hamstrings. So any kind of sensitive spots that you feel, just really take your time with this. Listen to your body. If something triggers your brain, be like, oh, that's kind of sensitive right there. What I want you to do is once you hit that sensitive spot, is go nice and slow, stop, take in deep breaths, relax the body, relax those fibers, down onto the foam roller, and really let that foam roller kind of work itself into the tissue. Again, this is like a deep tissue massage. If you're just rolling back and forth, it's not nearly as effective. If you just stay, hold the sensitive spot, and then get it to release. It takes a little bit of time, takes a little patience, but then the muscle is going to kind of relax for you. And let's go ahead and switch. Now, if you notice anything different, because not every leg is the same, if you notice a little bit more sensitive spots on your left, spend more time with your left, okay? If you know it's tighter on the right, spend more time, okay? So there's no exact science. You don't do 2 minutes on the right, 2 minutes on the left. If the left is more knotted up, it's going to tell you. Spend the time, really get it right, and make sure that they're nice and even. Once they're nice and even, so when you have the tight hamstrings, you're going to pull down on the hips. If they're uneven, it's going to kind of pull the hips down into a little bit of a twist, if we will, kind of twist that low back and create a little bit of low back pain. I'm going to go ahead and switch over into your IT band on the side. The IT band is rough, right? We don't have a lot of lateral bend, so we're going to pick our leg up, we're going to drop it over, going to place the foot nice and firmly onto the floor. Going to try to keep that right leg as straight as possible. Again, there's no lateral bend in this knee. It doesn't bend up, doesn't bend down, so we're not getting any kind of extension, no stretching, no contracting in that particular area. So it just kind of stiffened up over the years, and without really the myofascial release or the deep tissue massage, it doesn't go away. It can just sit in your leg for a long period of time until you really hit it. So again, same rules apply. Comb the leg, find those sensitive spots, and then once you find that sensitive spot, just go ahead and just sit on it. Just take in deep breaths, relax, and be patient with it. That's the main thing. That's how this is going to be effective for you, is if you are patient, okay? Just relax. We'll work out hard, intense later. This right here is more of just calming, just combing the muscles and getting them to stretch out and relax. Very nice, okay. And now we're going to switch down. We're actually going to do the quads, the hip flexors, okay? You might feel a little bit more tightness up in the hip area because the hip flexors were kind of in this position for long periods of time. So this whole area can kind of get congested a little bit, knotted up. So spend some time up here towards the hip, but also work your way all the way down towards the knee. Everybody's different. So again, there's not an exact science on this. Just work your way all the way down, find it, listen to your body, hit that sensitive spot. I'm just gonna go ahead and pretend if you haven't found one. Taking deep breaths, hold, relax, exhale, let the weight just kind of go down. If you use a foam roller, you can have both legs onto the foam roller, or if you can handle the pain, the sensitivity, you can put all the body weight on the one leg. We also have the tennis ball. Works well with a foam rolling, right? So it's a little bit more of a pinpoint. This is more broad based, so it's gonna hit the larger muscle fibers. You're just getting like a really sensitive spot, but it's really, really tiny in the hip flexor. You can go ahead and switch over to the tennis ball, place it right there, and really target that particular area. Both work just as good. Okay, very good. So once you loosen up that tissue there in the legs, you know, and you can also work the upper body as well, we're gonna get more into the dynamic stretching. So first what I got for you is the windshield wipers. I really like this one. This really opens up the hip complex. Those capsules kind of internally rotate and externally rotate. So we're gonna have your feet shoulder width apart, and then we're gonna just drop the knees. Just kind of think of like windshield wipers, right, in a car, just kind of going right back and forth with total control. We're not going fast here. We're just dynamically, through movement, stretching out those quads, stretching out those hips, inner and outer thighs, leaving our arms down onto the floor, and we're stretching from the arms, right? So we're getting a little bit of a core stretch here through the obliques. You're gonna feel a little bit of stretch in the abdomen and that low back there. Okay, just taking deep breaths, exhale as you're on one side, deep breath, exhale as you're on the other. Very good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip over on our stomach and do the scorpion. We're gonna now kind of activate. We're gonna get a little bit of blood flow going into the glutes, and then also stretch out the hip at the same time. Okay, so just like what she's doing there, she's laying flat onto the floor, arms straight out, palms down, squeezing that glute. Now you're gonna go ahead and rotate over the body, bending the knee and tapping the floor, just like that. Perfect, bringing it right down. So bringing up now the left leg, straight up, then rotate across, bending the knee at that point, going all the way down, straighten that leg out, and back down. So you're gonna fire the glute, you're gonna bring it across, and stretch right through that hip flexion and that quadricep. Okay, you're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch in the psoas, a little bit in the abdomen, the oblique area too at the same time. Perfect. She's gonna have a natural lift in that shoulder in the opposite one. Okay, that's gonna be normal, but try to keep the other shoulder nice and firmly down to the ground, just like that. See how this one raises up like that? The other one stays down. So for the purpose of this video, we're gonna do 5, but if you're feeling really tight and want to improve, spend a little bit of extra time here. That's okay, that's all right. Really open it up. Those are great dynamic stretches. What we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce the grip bell. We're gonna start off with something I call the bird dog. It's a great beginner exercise. It's gonna activate the entire posterior chain of your spine. Okay, it's gonna work from the base of the head all the way down through the spine, gonna hit the glutes all the way through the hamstrings. Okay, so once you go ahead and take this, she's gonna go with that central grip. It's that light grip. I am too on this because these are not easy in this position. We're gonna take away all of our leverage, gonna send it straight out. We're gonna go ahead and have our hands just right underneath our shoulders. We're gonna keep that abdomen nice and tight into your spine, okay? Let's go ahead, and since we have the weight in our right hand, we're gonna extend out through the left, all right? And then we're gonna get a full extension with our right arm. So we got a palm down on the floor. We're gonna go ahead and rotate the thumb straight up towards the ceiling. So think of like a hitchhiking thumb, right, straight up. So you're gonna come up, and we're gonna go ahead and do this. Let's go for 8 reps. Good, 1, 2, keep that ankle flexed. I like a nice stretch in the calf when we're doing this, squeezing the glute. You're gonna feel this in the shoulder. You're gonna feel those abs nice and tight. Gonna be working, we're gonna go ahead and switch, right? Same thing, now we're gonna extend the right leg, flex through the heel, going all the way up. Perfect. 2, 3, 4. So what we're doing is we're raising alternating limbs. So we're gonna work the entire core. We're gonna cross the hip to the opposite shoulder. pretty much hitting all the muscle groups into the body. Now, we're gonna drop the grip bell. We're gonna go right back down to a plank to warm up the core. I don't like to start off with any spinal flexion or extension. We're gonna just stabilize the spine for right now, okay? So we're gonna drop down to our elbows, onto our feet, onto our toes. We're gonna keep that straight line, right? We're gonna keep that belly deep into our spine. Gonna hold that tight. Gonna kind of sink the shoulders just a little bit. We don't want any of this protraction here in the shoulder. We're gonna drop it down. We want that head nice and neutral right there. Keeping those abs tight. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna drop those hips down just a little bit, but you don't wanna do that, right? You don't wanna drop down. If anything, raise that butt up in the air just a little bit. Maintain a straight back, right? You kind of push out. It makes everything kind of relax a little bit. Okay, go ahead and drop down your knees. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and stretch out the shoulders while we're here. Deep breath, fill the lungs full of air. Exhale, exhale, stretch out. Kind of inch your way up with your fingers, get a nice stretch there in those lats. Perfect, okay. What we're gonna do is reposition ourselves right for that bird dog. Again, you okay? Go another round, okay. Let's take this. Alternating limbs, right? So we got the weight into our right hand. We're gonna fully extend our left. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3. Now we're just doing it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. That's too easy for you. Go to 10. You can keep going. Go 12. Go 14. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. All right, let's drop down into a plank. Let's stabilize the core. Going out. Keeping that straight line, right, from the ankles to your head. Squeezing those abs in. Kind of dropping those shoulders back just a little bit. Just keeping everything tight. Do not collapse the core. Stick your butt up. Give yourself a break. Stick it up. Go right back down. Take deep breaths and relax. Good. Get a nice little stretch. All right, good work, guys. Now what we're gonna do is take it up to our feet. We're gonna go ahead and grab a hold of the grip bell. We're gonna first start off with little toe touches to front raise. Grab the outer edges of the grip bell, right? And we're gonna go ahead and just drive this down towards our feet, okay? Kind of try to keep our abs nice and tight, kind of squeeze our abs into our quads, right? Going down, get that nice stretch into the hamstring, then back up to the hips, and then straight up above your head, okay? Right back down to the hips, straight down, squeeze those abs, squeeze those quads. That's what's driving your weight down, then coming right back up, over the head, going down. Now, if this hurts the shoulder a little bit, you can always, modify by just bringing it up to the shoulder, or you don't even necessarily need to bring it up to the shoulder at all. If you just want to go down and straight up, that's okay for right now. No big deal. You can bring it up to the shoulder. You can bring it up above the head. If you're gonna bring it up above the head, might as well get a nice stretch in the lats, the shoulders, going right back down. Good. Perfect. That's it. Good. Straight up. All right, excellent. So what we're gonna do now is the alternating row. Okay, we kind of open up our stance a little bit, slight bend in the knees. We're gonna bring this now shoulder width height, okay, or shoulder height actually. And let's go ahead, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive that elbow behind us. Okay, pointing that left elbow forward, but really getting that right elbow back, straight out in front, and then pulling that left elbow behind you. So we're gonna get scapular retraction. We're gonna get those shoulder blades to go back, straight out in front. Good, and just kind of alternating from right to left, right to left. We're just gonna warm up those shoulders. Good, working those deltoids, fronts, going to the rear, front shoulder to the rear shoulder. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of a core twist there. Open up those obliques. Good. Okay, perfect. All right, now what we're gonna do is gonna go right into a running man. I like this exercise because it actually challenges your balance a little bit. We're gonna load up our left foot We're gonna have that weight out in front of us. It's gonna be kind of a counterbalance at this point. We're gonna get our leg, we're gonna drive our knee up and then go slightly behind us. So we're gonna extend out the grip bell to counterbalance. So straight out, good. 5, good. 6, if you fall down, it's okay. Balance isn't perfect, definitely your first set. Good, now go ahead and load up your right. Kicking out that left leg, perfect. Full extension. What you're gonna do is squeeze that glute, get that back leg fully extended behind you, kind of stretch through the heel, good. Again, if you gotta come down, tap down, don't fall down, good. Okay, now we're gonna go to single thrust, little single thrusters. Open up your stance, this is very similar to a squat, right? You're gonna have your feet shoulder width apart, slightly externally rotate your toes. You're gonna have that mobility in the hip. If you need to open up your stance just a little bit wider, that's fine, no big deal. Mainly what I want you to do with your feet is kind of spread the floor apart with your feet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your knees flaring out, externally rotated, putting all the weight more onto the pads of your foot. We don't want our knees to collapse. We don't want our knees to go past our toes, right? So let's go ahead and bring the weight up to the shoulder. We're gonna drive down with the elbow, hips going back, drop down, straight up, good. Dropping down, straight up. This is gonna be a cardio workout too. We're gonna get full body, we're gonna get a lot of muscles working on this one. Working the shoulders, working the legs. Good, perfect. Go ahead and switch, gonna go right to the left. Again, driving the left elbow down to the knee. Get those hips back, we ready? Good, straight up. 1, 2, 3, full body. If you don't know what to do with your hand, I just kind of put it on my chest, kind of line up the elbows together so they're both tapping. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. So that's kind of a circuit right there. We're gonna go right through it again. A little less talking, a little more working. Okay, you ready? We're gonna start off with toe touches. Ready? And drive it down. Good. 1, 2, good. Feeling that stretch? You're gonna be a little bit more limber here. Now that we've worked some of that tissue, warmed it up, it's a little bit more elastic. Good, good. Control going down, pop going up. Excellent. Okay, so what we're gonna do is alternate row. Open up the stance a little bit, slight bend in the knees. Let's hold it out in front. Let's drive back with the elbows. Perfect, good. Go ahead and rotate that core. Work those obliques. Send it out, working the shoulder, pulling it back, working those rear delts, rotating the spine. Keep it up high. Good? Excellent, perfect. Okay, now right into running man. So, right, we got another 8 reps. Load up onto the left leg. We're gonna send it out. Good. Straight out. Now we're doing 8 reps, but if this is easy for you, you can always do 10, you can do 12, you can do 14, take it up to 20, right? Change your grip. Make it harder for yourself, or there's easier ways to do it. Lost my balance. Tap down, don't fall down. Good, all right. And then we have the single thrusters. Ready? Let's finish strong. Ready? I line up the elbows. Let's go down. Ready? 1, 2, 4, 5. Stay with it. 6. You can do it. 7, 8. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and switch. Let's keep it going. Keeping that heart elevated. 2. Getting a little cardio benefit while we're doing this. 4. We're increasing flexibility, we're increasing strength, we're increasing cardio. All with the grip bell. Good, perfect, excellent. Okay, so that's gonna be it for the beginner workout. We're gonna do a little stretching. What I like to do is a couple of these stretches here. Once you lift up high, we're gonna go on the in grip. Gonna go behind you. Grab a hold of that grip bell, drive it down, get that nice stretch in the tricep, stretch through the lats, good. Standing tall, try to get this elbow pointing straight up. Don't force it if it hurts. Don't force it. Just taking deep breaths, try to stretch. You're kind of pulling down a little bit with the grip, letting that stretch out. All right, go ahead and switch. All right, again, trying to point that elbow up towards the ceiling. You're gonna notice that one arm might be tighter than the other. Good, using that opposite arm to kind of pull down, create a little bit of resistance for you. Good, taking deep breaths, stretch it out. Deep breaths, good, okay. Let's get a little bit of calf hamstring stretch. All right, again with the grip bell, love this thing. Go ahead and hook your toe, right? We're gonna alternate, because what I want you to do is get a nice little rotation away. So you're gonna use your abs, squeeze your quads, bring yourself forward. If you can go a little higher on the grip, that's great. And then kind of get a little bit of a rotation. If this challenges your balance, you gotta kick your leg out a little bit. That's fine. Taking deep breaths. Secret is pulling that toe up towards you. Don't necessarily use it with your hands. You can flex your foot. You're just hooking up right there to get that little extra stretch that it needs. Deep breath. Exhale through the stretch. Deep breath. Exhale through the stretch. Good. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and switch. Hook the right foot. Good. Pulling it back. You're gonna open up your stance for a little bit more balance. Pulling those toes back towards you. Good. And kind of rotate this hip. Keeping that leg nice and straight. Getting those toes up, stretching out the calf. Excellent. Rotate away. Deep breaths. Just kind of relax. If this is difficult for you, go ahead and take it down to the mat and you can stretch there, no problem. Let's finish off down at the floor. A little bit of a hip flexor stretch. We don't need the grip belt for this. What I want you to do is sitting on one knee, just kind of think of like a scared dog tucking the tail in between the legs, right? Just a posterior tilt in the hip, driving that hip forward, nice long stride, leaning forward, and then you're just like a scared dog tucking that tail in between your legs. We're gonna get that nice stretch to the hip flexor. And then let's go ahead and reach up. And let's rotate over the head. Good, nice little stretch here going down our side. Deep breath, relax. Just breathe into that stretch, okay? 5 deep breaths before you switch. Get that right foot in front of you. Scared dog. Posterior tilt, driving that hip forward, leaning into the knee, opposite hand, now going over the head. Deep breath. So this is a beginner workout. We want to keep it very simple for you, right? If it's too hard, change the grip. You can always reduce the amount of reps. If there's some that you find that's a little bit better on the ground that you want to do, that's fine, do that. Work your way up to it, work your way up to 3 sets, work your way up to 20 reps before you go off to that full body, more advanced program for grip bell. Thank you for tuning in to our nutritional segment. My name is Clint Ward, personal trainer. This is my friend Alexia Gallicados. She's the founder of ElioFit and also just recently went through her first fitness competition, won some medals. We're here to talk a little bit about nutrition. So GRIPBELL, phenomenal product. It's gonna get you your goals, but it's not 100% complete. Exercise is about 30% of it. But diet, unfortunately, is 70% of it. It's got to be your primary focus, right? You're not going to be able to lose all the body fat that you want and look the way you want to look with the GRIPBELL alone. You really have to focus on nutrition, okay? So what I want to have you think about right now is instead of saying you are what you eat, turn that around on its head a little bit and really consider eating what you are.
When I was doing the 12-week training, I had to eat 6 times a day. I was eating every 2 to 3 hours, whether I was hungry or not. What that does is it helps boost your metabolism and help increase your fat burning process.
The best way to burn fat, what we call that is lipolysis, the fat burning machine. When you eat what you are, your body consists of 50 to 60% water, 20 to 30% protein, 15, depending on who you are, up to 25% fat. And then we really have less than 10% of carbohydrate, and even lower than that on your micronutrients, less than 5%. If you really eat to what your body is consisted of, you will burn body fat a little bit more consistently than if you overconsume carbohydrates. That actually will convert to fat. Even though vitamins is a good thing, too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing, turns into fat. I typically like the salmon, grass-fed beef, I like the nuts, I like the whole foods, the avocado, the sliced tomatoes, I like the rice, I like the spinach.
I was eating 6 times a day, and knowing that this was a 12-week program, I definitely needed to vary how I was eating. With the proteins, I would have chicken, eggs, turkey, grass-fed beef, and I did try to keep my proteins as organic and grass-fed as possible. Just to mix it up a little bit, I would do the egg and then avocado as my fat and mix that and make it a deviled egg.
These are really good, by the way. I was just going to chime in. I've had a couple of these in the past, and nothing healthier than a hard-boiled egg. It's really clean how you prepare it, and then you split it up and mix it with that avocado. Avocado's got that healthy fat and the hyaluronic acid. It's going to keep you young.
You just mix them together with lime juice and cilantro, salt and pepper. So then with this is kind of my little snack to help satisfy my sweet tooth. These are just raw nuts that I baked actually with just some cinnamon and a little bit of honey and maple syrup, just enough to bind everything together. They just make a great snack, and it's a good protein and fat.
Haven't had this yet, but it looks delicious for sure. We really want to kind of get away from the traditional breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The big meals, we want to condense them down a little bit, spread them out. Like you said, 6 meals a day, right, to fire the metabolism. Get some really nice, healthy alternatives for snacks. We're not talking about chips, we're not talking about popcorn, sodas, ice cream. Really stay healthy. Even though it's a snack, you can still be healthy with the snack.
If you do want to decrease the carbs that you're eating, put more vegetables on your plate. That'll help fill you up, and you won't have that craving for those carbs.
Exactly, so yeah, just the vegetables are snacks. You got your carrots, you got your broccoli, you got whatever you want to consume for your snacks. Just make sure it's small and within the portions that your body really consists of. Stick with it, looking at it like a week, your body will actually start to correct itself, balance itself out, and really shed that body fat. You will shed body fat in your sleep if you do it right.
There were times that I did not want to eat 6 meals a day, but after a week or 2 of doing it, my body started using that fuel, and it was amazing.
We're not going to share what to eat, when, and everything like that. Just want to give the basics, the breakdown, the body actually works. You kind of decide from there how you want to prepare your own meals. We'll continue to update website, Facebook, the social accounts, and good luck.
GRIPBELL.